Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by Docsity in partnership with University of Gothenburg. My name is Carolina. Nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of Docsity. I see here that first people are already starting to join in. We are going to wait a few minutes just to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi in our chat here on Zoom, and please tell us where you're from since we are curious. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank also our panelists for being here with us today. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Together with them, we are going to discover the Masters of Gothenburg University. We're going to find out about the programs in the areas of physics and mathematics, climate and sustainability, and biology and biodiversity. We'll also learn how to apply, and we are going to discover the benefits in the academic offer of University of Gothenburg. You'll also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them their questions. Talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here in Zoom. And we'll go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Docsity for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post the link to get the certificate at the end of the session. So I think that we are able to start now. Welcome to those who just joined us. And without further ado, I'm now leaving the floor to our panelists for their presentation. I'm now leaving the floor to Petra for a warm welcome and the general presentation. So Petra, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Petra, and I am an education officer at the Faculty of Science, University of Gothenburg. Today, I also have some of my colleagues with me and two student ambassadors that will present about the programs and tell you more about the student life at the University of Gothenburg. Next slide, please, for the focus areas. Thank you. Our main focus areas today are climate and sustainability, physics and mathematics, biology and biodiversity, and environmental sciences. We have 20 different master's programs, international master's programs at our faculty. You can see the ones we are focusing on today marked in blue. I also would like to say that we will send you the presentation after the webinar, so you don't need to take a lot of notes today and feel stressed about that. So I am now giving the word to our student ambassadors, Anna and Velma, telling you about their programs and the student life in Gothenburg. Thank you. So next slide, please.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Anna, one of the international student ambassadors. I come from France, and I am in the second year of the master program in environmental sciences. So why I chose Sweden and this program? Basically, I've always been fascinated by the Scandinavian countries, and most precisely by Sweden, because of the nature, the buildings. When the first time I came here in Sweden, I took a lot of pictures of just random buildings because it was so different from what I see in France, and I still do. And also fika, because I love food. And this is actually my second master program at the University of Gothenburg. My first one was Atmosphere, Climate and Ecosystems. And I definitely have a different mentality than when I started my first one. But I chose both of my masters for the same reason. I wanted them to be sustainably related. And I chose Gothenburg because it's very close to nature. We have parks, lakes, a botanical garden with a nature reserve behind it. So all of this is very nice. And I feel that in Gothenburg, there is always something interesting happening, whether you like festivals, cultural events, or if, like me, you like food events. There is always something interesting to discover in Gothenburg. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to talk a bit more about Gothenburg. Next slide, please. So I would say that Gothenburg is a friendly and international university city. There are more than 60,000 students with almost 54,000 at the University of Gothenburg. Here we have a very modern transport network that is trams, buses, and we even have boats, ferries. What I like about the buses is that they can go quite far out of Gothenburg, so you can see the area surrounding Gothenburg. And the boat, I actually used to take the boat for free to go to my Swedish course, so that's also a very nice kind of transport. In Gothenburg, around a quarter of the people living here are actually born outside of Sweden. So here it's very easy to have friends that come from all over the world. As I said, nature is quite around the corner, but also it's very easy here to combine city life and university life. Studying at the University of Gothenburg, I have never felt completely overwhelmed by my studies. I am definitely constantly learning, but I still feel like there is a good balance where you have also a good amount of free time where you can do other activities. Next slide, please. The University of Gothenburg is a university that is quite open to the world. It has more than 3,000 international students, strong international networks with many different countries. You have different scholarships, so whether you are fee-paying students or other kind of student. And we have also 18 master's programs in English, which with 20 of them are at the Faculty of Science. Next slide, please. So the main activity at the University of Gothenburg is, of course, in Gothenburg, where you have the headquarters and the campuses. But actually, if you study, for example, marine sciences, you might have some courses where you will be able to go to the Kristineberg campus. So it's the picture in the middle, or the Tjärnö part, where is the picture at the top. And then if you study conservation, then you might have a course where you will have to go to Mariestad, so that's the bottom picture. Personally, I have been out of these three areas, I have been to Tjärnö for 1 week, and it was really one of the best experience I've had there. Next slide, please. So a new thing in 2023 is that we have a completely new, very modern building that is called Natrium. And in this building, all the life science programs are gathered. In this building, there could be approximately 3,000 students. So it's from 5 different departments. In the building, you have a very modern laboratories and also very nice office workspace. So if you want to study, or for example, if you need to do your master thesis, you have very nice offices. And here at the end, you have a link. And if you click on the link, you will be able to see the different campuses around Gothenburg. Next slide, please. So the study system in Sweden, I think it's quite simple. So it's 30 credits per semester. So you can take courses of 7.5 or 15 credits. If you do the 2-year master's program, so it's 120 credits, 4 semesters, where you have 2 periods per semester. And you have to do a master thesis, and that can be of 30, 45, 60 credits. That depends on what you want to do, but also on the programs that you take. The final evaluation, that can be depending on the teacher, the course, a quiz, a presentation, a lab report, a literature review. But me, most of the time, I have had a final exam. Here in Sweden, for the grades, there are no numbers. It's fail, pass, or pass with distinction. And the good thing is that if you fail your exam, you can retake your exam throughout the year. So I feel like this helps me feel less stressed when I take exam, because I don't have to think, okay, this is my one and only opportunity to succeed in this exam. And if you have questions about the courses that you want to take, you're not really sure which path should I take, you can always ask your study counselors. Next slide, please. Something also very important, the visas, scholarships, and insurances. So we recommend everyone, even the people that come from the EU, to apply during the first admission round, that is between October and January. For the people who need to apply for a visa, we recommend to apply in April, to apply in good time. There's also a new rule for people who need residence permits. All students must present their passport at a consulate or embassy in their home country. So that's a new rule that has started in 2022. So as a student, you can be covered by various kinds of insurances. So that depends if you're a tuition fee student, that depends, yeah. You have different kinds of insurances. I'm not an expert, but you have more info and also a contact address at this link that you will be able to click when you get the presentation if you want more information. And concerning scholarships, we just recommend to apply in time, keep the deadlines in mind, and I will also say, remind yourself of the requirements. For example, there is one scholarship called Axel Adler, where the requirements are you have to have the University of Gothenburg as your first choice, and you need to apply in the first round. So depending on the scholarship, you will have different requirements, and you can look at this link of the information about scholarships. Next slide, please. So if you want to be part of the future in Gothenburg, you will have to apply to one of the programs via this website, University Admissions. So that is a website that is used for all of Sweden. The application is open between the 16th of October to the 15th of January. And we recommend to be very careful that you prepare all the supporting documents that you need, because depending on the country that you come from, the program that you want to study, you will have different requirements. And it's so much nicer when that you don't have a message saying you do not have given us all the documents needed. So be very careful about this. I think it's a very important part. Next slide, please. And now I leave the floor to another international student ambassador, Velma.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this webinar today. We are really glad to have you. And I'm Velma, and yeah, I'm from Kenya. And I study at a master's in atmosphere, climate, and ecosystem. I'm a second year student. And one interesting thing about my master's program is that it gives you a broad scope of the environment. So you get to learn about the atmosphere, climate, and ecosystem during your first year. So you get different courses in atmosphere, another one in climate, and another courses in the earth sciences, which is the ecosystem. So after that, during your second year, you can major depending on your interest. Like for me, I was interested so much in the atmosphere, so I'm doing a thesis on the atmospheric chemistry. So the reason why I chose to study in Gothenburg is because I did my research while back in Kenya, and I saw that Sweden is the best when it comes to environmental studies. And so far, so good. I don't regret the choice that I made, because I'm actually my goals towards like my education was actually met in that line, and I'm really enjoying my studies here. So I feel like I did the best choice to come to Sweden, because I'm getting the value that I expected that I would get here. And and also I also wanted to experience the culture here, which so far so good. They have a very good culture called the fika, and where people actually meet over a cup of coffee and just have a little chit chat, especially after a very long day. So yeah, I'm also having a great time when it comes to experiencing here the culture in Sweden as well. And also, yeah, in Gothenburg, to be specific, Gothenburg is actually the second largest city in Sweden, and it has very great history, beautiful landscape. It's very mountainous, so I really enjoy looking at the landscape, especially when I wake up. During the summer, it's usually very beautiful when the sun is rising and setting of the sun. It's usually very, very much beautiful. And also, we have very beautiful sceneries. We have museums around the city with very great history. So, and I think Anna also mentioned that we have very good transport system. And something interesting about this, as students, we get discount for the public transport system here through the Mecenat card. So with that, you're able to travel freely the way you want. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about housing a little bit. And in Gothenburg, we have, next slide, we have a number of housing options as a student. And what I would advise you is, once you've made up your mind that you want to study in Gothenburg, it would be nice for you to start looking for various form of student housing that could be available here. One of the first things that you would do is actually registering on the SGS. The SGS is it's a student housing provided by for the students actually. So what you do, you go to their website, sign up. Of course, you'll be directed on how to register on their website, and then after that, you'll acquire your Q points. And once you get enough Q points, you'll be eligible to get a housing. And also, it's very important when you register on the SGS, you come and join a student union. When you join a student union, of course, your Q points you'll gain more Q points. Let's say, yeah, you'll gain more Q points that will earn you housing easily. Yeah, and also the rent of SGS is very, very good because it's student friendly. And we have a number of types of the apartment. We have a single apartment where you get to stay alone. It's just a small house for one person with your own kitchen and your spacing area. It's one room. And we have a shared one where you get maybe 4 people, you get to share one kitchen. Or there are other houses where you also get, you share the washroom and the kitchen as well. And also we have, if you want bigger houses, maybe 2 or 3 rooms, you can also get through SGS. And it depends with the kind of facility that you're actually looking for. You can get either the parking, gym, storage, depends with the amount of money that you want to spend and whether you is interested in those features or not. Next slide. Yeah, and also you can find private housing. And I think this is what I did for me. Before, when I knew that I wanted to come to Gothenburg, and so I joined a number of Facebook groups. So it's good to also look out. You just don't pay your money directly. Like when, for instance, you get a house in Facebook, you just don't pay money directly. It's important for you to be sure of what you're getting yourself into before actually paying the money. And a good person would actually tell you to get in Sweden first, then you pay the money. So that's what actually happened to me. So I joined a Facebook group, and people are posting their houses and different things that are provided in the housing. So you just check according to your preference, then you talk to the person, and good people will actually tell you, okay, you'll come to Sweden, and once you arrive here, you can actually pay for your housing or something like that. So it's important to be very careful when actually you're dealing with Facebook. And there's another site called Blocket. Blocket also has very good housing options, and you can also get single or shared accommodation, just based on what you want. And each and every tenant on Blocket has their own rules and what they expect from you as a tenant. So you can always get something that fits you. And also it's important for you to widen your search. Don't limit yourself to finding a housing near the city, because it's a city, so it would be very hard for you to find housing here. Or even if you find it, it would be very expensive. So if you're looking at saving your money a little bit, so it would be important for you to at least look for housing that is that is at least outside the city center. And as I said, we have very good transport system, so you'll not have a problem with commuting from school from home to school. And also there's another there's temporary accommodation where you can find, let's say, an Airbnb. I've had friends doing that, like for some maybe 1 or 2 weeks as you look for accommodation. You know, sometimes it's very easy when you're on the ground for you to start looking for accommodation. So you can have an Airbnb app on your phone, then you try to find a temporary accommodation for like 2-3 weeks as you look for at least long-term accommodation. Yeah, and also hotel would work as well. So there's a link there. You can also search on that link for the student housing. Yeah, next. Yeah, so for our new students, we usually have welcome days, probably in January and August. And mostly it's important for you to attend these welcome days because you get introduced to various activities that happen around the school. And also one important thing that I would encourage you to attend these welcome days, it's because you get to mingle with other international students. So you actually widen your network when you meet your fellow students. And mostly one of the welcome program, one is usually organized by the school, like the school welcome service organizes a welcome service for all the students that are going to join the Gothenburg University, and then it narrows down to the faculties. So also faculties have also their welcome days. So they're usually in these activities, you can get, like, of course, gift hampers, and you get to know more about the faculty and different activities that happen in the faculty. And also you get to interact with those people who work in the faculty who can help you in case of anything. So it's very important for you to take note of these welcome days. And also you also get introduced to student union and various things that are performed by the student unions, and the importance of actually being part of the student union. And you also get notified about the various activities that happen throughout the semester. And you get the semester calendar to be precise, like all the activities that will happen and everything that is going to go on during the semester and the important dates during the semester. And also we have collaborative events that, like Unimit Gothenburg and Move to Gothenburg. This event brings together all the international people in Gothenburg, where you just meet, have figure together and get to know more about each other and share your experiences. And I've also talked about the welcome services at the University of Gothenburg, which are really good, especially in making your stay, especially the first days, very smooth and good. And also you'll be able to meet people who you can ask questions and they will respond to your questions accordingly. Yeah. And thank you so much for listening for me. So for listening to me. So we have the next presenter.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Karin Karlsson, student counselor in environmental science. And environmental science deals with humans' impact on the environment and what we can do to reduce this impact. And society is today crucially dependent on well-trained environmental scientists. So if you want to take part and contribute to this huge task, then one program in environmental science can be great for you. We have 3 programs: atmosphere, climate and ecosystems, ecotoxicology, and environmental science. Next, please. So I will start to talk about atmosphere, climate and ecosystems. Within ACE, we also call this program ACE, the ACE program. So within ACE, you study the complex global systems that is made up of the atmosphere, climate, and ecosystems, and the related global challenges. And you get an understanding of the processes occurring in the atmosphere, of air quality, affects life, quality, and ecosystems globally. And within this program, the first semester is you study 4 mandatory courses. And these are global change, problem analysis and measures, climate change in Earth system perspective, atmospheric chemistry, nature-based solutions, potentials, pitfalls, and goal conflicts. So the first semester is mandatory, and during the second semester, during year 1, then you can take one profile within atmospheric science, climatology, or ecosystem. And this profile you choose depending on your background. So you have to have chemistry for atmospheric science profile, and you have to have earth science for the climatology, and biology for the ecosystem profile. During year 2, you make a master thesis of 45 or 60 credits. And if you choose a smaller one, you can take one optional course in addition. Next, please. The ecotoxicology master program. Ecotoxicology is the science that explains how toxic compounds affect ecosystems. And within this program, you learn to characterize, understand, and predict effects of toxic chemicals on plants and animal populations, on ecological communities and ecosystems. And this program, within this program, there is 5 mandatory courses during the first year. Fundamentals of ecotoxicology, environmental impact assessment, chemical risk assessment, ecological toxicology towards physiology, and ecological toxicology towards ecology. And during year 2, you take your master thesis of 30, 45, or 60 credits. So if you make a smaller one, you can choose optional courses between 15 and 30 credits. Next, please. And the last program, environmental science. Within this program, you will gain in-depth knowledge and competence regarding all aspects of environmental problems. You learn about today's crucial issues of climate change, air and ocean pollutions, biodiversity loss, and poverty reduction. And within this program, the first semester is mandatory, and there is four mandatory courses: global change, problem analysis and measures, resource efficiency, energy, material flows, and ecosystem services, environmental assessments of planetary crisis, and nature-based solutions, potential pitfalls, and goal conflicts. And during spring semester, you take optional courses. So here you have the freedom to choose which courses you like to take. And during year 2, you make your master thesis of 30, 45, or 60 credits. And also you can take the optional courses if you make a small master thesis. So within this program, you have the possibility to include more optional courses. So then you have the freedom to choose your own specialization. Yes, next, please. The entry requirements for the programs, for all 3 programs, are that you have a bachelor in natural science, and for atmospheric, climate, and ecosystems, you must have 120 credits in natural science, and in addition, 15 credits in basic chemistry. And for the different profiles, for the atmosphere profile, you must have additionally 15 credits in chemistry, and for the earth science profile, 30 credits in earth science, and the ecosystem profile, 30 credits in biology. For the ecotoxicology program, you must have at least 90 credits in biology and chemistry, and this is 1.5 year full-time studies in biology and chemistry together. And for environmental science program, you must have 15 credits in environmental science. Yes, next, please. After graduation, our students usually end up in working as an environmental expert in both business and public sectors, or continue with research as a PhD student. For examples of this is in the public sector. You can, for example, work in the position as at the regulatory authorities at a county, national or international level. You can work in the private sector, in position in the industry or environmental consulting firms. Or there can be positions within non-government organization or in the education sectors, for example, as a teacher in the field of natural science. Yes, so the job market is really broad for environmental scientists, and the job market normally is very good. You have good opportunities to work as an environmental expert after graduation. Yes, next please. More information about environmental science, you can check. Then you can check these links. You can read more about programs when you go to the first link there at the top, and you can also check all our courses in environmental science, and also read more about the research that we are performing at our Department of Biological and Environmental Science. Yes. So you're welcome to contact us on the email address environmentalscience@bioenv.gu.se. So thank you. That was all from environmental science.
Yes, hi. My name is Andrea, and I'm a study counselor at the Department of Biological and Environmental Science. And I'm here to tell you something about the biology. So we have 3 master's program in biology. We have the normal master's program in biology, and then we have 2 Nordic master's programs. So we have the Nordic master's program in biodiversity and systematics, the NABIS program. And we have the Nordic Master's Program in Sustainable Production and Utilization of Marine Bioresources. And as you may know, biology is the study of life, and it helps us to understand the living world around us. And there are many disciplines within biology, and you can study microbiology, or you can study marine biology or limnology. There's a broad spectrum of subjects that you can choose from. And we also have a theory and practice-based education. So you will have lectures, you will have exercises, you will have group works, and you will have laboratory works. But we also have access to 2 marine field research stations, Kristineberg and Tjärnö. So many of our courses are take visits there or have excursions over there. Next slide, please. So the biology master's program, it provides a good foundation, and it makes you very attractive on the job market. It's a very, very flexible program, and it's a tailored education based on your interests and the specialization that you are interested in. And the program is very closely connected to research, and many of our teachers are active researchers. So you will really get the up-to-date education. The biology master's program have 5 main profiles. So still, depending on your interests and the way that you wish to tailor your education, you have the evolutionary and behavioral ecology track. You have the conservation biology. You have the physiology and cell biology, marine ecology, and biodiversity and systematics. And all of these profile have its own degree projects or master theses at the end. Next slide. So here is one of the profiles, the evolutionary and behavioral ecology, and it focuses on the processes of selection and evolution and the consequences on population, species, and ecosystems. And it's a profile more aimed at basic research or towards a practical approach. And I've just listed some example courses that you are free to take. So if you're interested in evolutionary ecology or evolutionary genomics, you are free to choose from our courses. And the degree project will be within this field. Next slide. So the second track or profile that you can choose is conservation biology. And it's about how biologically valuable habitats arise, why they change, and how we can preserve and manage them in a human-exploited nature and urban environments. So we study land ecosystems, forests and open habitats, but we also look into the freshwater and marine ecosystems and estuaries and wetlands and such. And some example courses, depending on your interest, if you want to take applied environmental law, or if you want to learn more about nature conservation management. And this profile also has its own degree project within the conservation biology. Next slide. The third profile is the physiology and cell biology, and it's more related to animal and plant function and includes studies on cellular, organelle, organ, or the whole organism. So you can learn more about cell signaling, aging, toxins, membrane transport, and salinity, pH, etc. And you can specialize within this profile in ecophysiology, animal physiology, plant physiology, or human physiology. So depending on your interest, you can choose different courses. So you can have genetics, or you can have drug discovery and development. And also this one has a degree project within the subject. Next slide. Our fourth profile is marine ecology, and it focuses on the different aspects of marine life in various biological subjects, and also very closely related areas. And like I said before, we have 2 marine research stations, and the university is in the front line of marine research. So many of our courses are at these stations, Tjärnö and Kristineberg, and many of our students really enjoy their visits when they go there, and it's a really beautiful place to be. And here are some example courses as well. So you can take experimental marine ecology, or you can take ecological toxicology. And you can also do a degree project within the subject as well. So next slide. And this is our last profile within the sort of normal biology master's program. So it's the biodiversity and systematics. And it focuses on the different multitude of organisms on our planet and the evolutionary relationships between them. And we have some example courses, and you can take a degree project within the subject. This profile is also, we have also a whole program in biodiversity and systematics. So if you want to know even more, then the Nordic program might be a good way. So we can take the next slide. And this is the Nordic Master's Program in Biodiversity and Systematics. And biodiversity is it's a big field, and it's therefore a collaboration between several leading universities in both Sweden and Norway. And it's aimed at providing the taxonomic skills needed for work with specifically biodiversity and systematics. And there's a total of 17 elective courses divided into 4 categories. And when you're taking this program, then you need to choose courses within all these 4 categories. And the courses are a bit smaller than for the rest of, but for the other programs, these courses are usually 5 or 10 credits long. So you will take more courses in this program. And the program starts with 2 compulsory courses, which is Alpha Taxonomical Principles at the University of Gothenburg. And then the second course is the Fundamental and Molecular Systematics, which is on Uppsala University. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. So the third program that we have is a Nordic Master's Program in Sustainable Production and Utilization of Marine Bioresources. And it's also a collaboration between different universities. So it's Gothenburg University, It's University of Gothenburg, it's the Nord University in Norway, and it's the Holar University on Iceland. And the program addresses the entire value chain from ocean to table. And it starts with a mandatory hybrid course of 15 credits. And in this course, you will visit all three of these Nordic universities. So you will have one intense week at University of Gothenburg, and then you will have one intense week at Nord University in Norway, and one intense week at Holar University on Ireland. So it's a really good opportunity to visit 3 different countries in this program. And there's also a mandatory mobility of at least 30 credits. So if you apply to this program at Gothenburg University, then you would need to take 1 semester in Norway or 1 semester in Iceland. Yes, and here are some example courses for this program as well. Next slide. And the entry requirements for the master's program in biology, you need to have at least 3 years full studies, equals to a bachelor degree in science in biology, marine or environmental science, and at least 60 credits in biology and 1 in-depth course in biology of 15 credits. And for the Nordic Master's program in biodiversity and systematics, you need to have a bachelor degree in biology. And for the Nordic Master's program in sustainable production and utilization of marine bioresources, you could have a bachelor degree in natural sciences, but you can also have in social science or arts. So it's a more flexible program. Next slide, please. And if you have any questions or if you wish to contact us, then you can reach out to us through email and just drop your questions there. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Emily, and I'm at the Department of Earth Sciences, and I want to talk about 2 more programs. One is Earth Sciences, which is for geologists and physical geographers interested in climatology. And then I have a master's program in geography, which is good for physical geographers and human geographers. Next slide. They talk so nicely, both of our student ambassadors, about the surrounding area. And obviously, I just wanted to emphasize that the Earth Science programs use the outside space for all parts of its courses and throughout the curriculum. So here on the left-hand side, I think on your left-hand side with the trees, is our geography program, and they're out and about in the city. Up at the top right is the applied hydrology course, taking samples in the water. And we also go farther afield. This is the geology group, and they are in Oman. If you join us in the fall, that course to Oman will be leaving in the spring. Next slide. The geography program is a fairly structured program, sort of as the other groups were discussing. So if you think about your 4 academic terms, you have a first term, and that is basically, we tell you, you're going to take these 3 courses. There's one sort of that's sitting in the middle, and then everyone takes their thesis at the same time. It's actually a relatively small thesis in comparison to the other programs that I've discussed today. It's a 30-credit thesis. Important for the geography program with the urban sustainable focus is that you have had GIS. If you're uncertain about eligibility, just contact us and we'll give you more information about that. Next slide. So in between those 4, with a total of 4 academic terms with us for our master's, in between the bookends, there are 2 terms. So the spring of your first year and the fall of your second year, where you can sort of decide and really specialize in what interests you, and that can be very much in physical geography or in human geography, but you're also willing to take allowed to take courses from other departments that are of interest to you, or do an internship as well. So there's flexibility there. Last slide. I wanted to mention that the opportunity to choose a thesis is really up to you. So you can take a human geography focused thesis. You can do vice versa and take a human geography, something in between, as most geography theses are. But we can also allow students who have very much an interest in the technology of geography to really develop their skills with particular tools. And we have a drone lab, but we have lots of GIS work, LiDAR, satellite images, remote sensing. So all of these are options for you. Next slide. Off to the Masters in Earth Sciences, I would say they're even more taking advantage of the general area. Up in the top on with the blue image is our one of our researchers at another research station that we haven't mentioned yet in the far north. At the other end, you see in the red mountain, you see Oman again. And then in between those two images, there's one on a boat. That's actually Shanu, which they have been mentioning before. This is our geology group, and they're taking a look at the Mayfic dikes. And then we have a few more images of surrounding local area. The volcano is in Italy with our geologists again, and there you see our building in the red corner. Next slide. The Earth Science program is meant for really geologists, physical geographers, climatologists. It's a blend. Ask questions if you have them about eligibility. I want to point out two things. If you're interested in petroleum geology, you need to go one country over and look at programs in Norway. And if you're interested in solely doing geophysics, I recommend looking at Uppsala in Sweden. We have geophysics, we have volcanology, we have structural geology, but we don't just offer a program in those. Okay, next slide. The Earth Science program, in comparison to the geography program or some of the other programs that I've mentioned, is extremely open to how you want to create it and specialize in it. There are two things that you are doing that sort of are the overarching link in the program. The first is a very simple program master seminar, and it's from the day you join us until the day you finish up. It's just about once every 2 weeks. It's not a course that is stressful in and of itself. It's an opportunity for us to introduce our research staff and labs and stations and so forth, hear guest lecturers, and you have a chance to develop your thesis, from thinking about what your thesis will be all the way to getting ready to present it on your final day. And the other other project that we have is the thesis itself. And so that's, again, a 45 to 60 credit, like many of the other programs we've talked about today. Next slide. We offer actually more courses than we could teach in a single year. So we actually alternate quite a few of the courses, in particular the geology courses, or courses that would be of interest to both geologists and climatologists, physical geographers. Next slide. I think these are the courses that we plan to teach in the fall of 2024. It's almost solidified, and once we know for sure, we'll have that up on our page. Next slide. And lastly, I'm glad I talked about this. We haven't talked about these field stations. Here are two other field stations. The one at the top is north of Obisco in Sweden, and is mostly used for our physical geographers looking at the Arctic as a proxy for climate change studies. And then Skogred is much closer to us. It's between Gothenburg and Tjärnö, if you will. And there you can see that they're doing an experiment about the effect of clear cutting forests and how that impacts climate change as well. There's a last group that I could mention that isn't really well represented here. We have a lot of work with atmospheric studies as well. And that group mostly looks at, uses computer modeling. So that's actually a lot of indoor work. And they focus primarily on looking at the Himalaya area for a study of climate change and what the future holds. Next slide. So whether you're interested in green energy or climate change issues, take any questions up with us you'd like. The resources that I've listed here, take a good look at the master's pages. Don't be afraid to look at our research pages, and that's for all of the programs that we're listing today. The staff has put up a lot of information about the labs we have and the research they're up to. That'll give you a good sense of what's available with us. And we have an Instagram page where you can follow students on field trips and different activities. Any questions you have, you can give to our study counselor. Thank you.
So now me and Mats will talk about physics and mathematics. I am Linnea, and I am the study counselor at mathematics department at University of Gothenburg. So next slide, please. So if you want to take a master in mathematics, we have a 2-year program, and we have 5 specializations within this program. So either you can choose to take mathematics, applied mathematics, mathematical statistics, financial mathematics, or statistical learning and AI. And within these 5 specializations, you have a lot of freedom to choose your own courses based on your prior knowledge. So as you'll see on the next slide, then what our students often do afterwards is they are staying within the academia doing research or doing research within industry. A lot of people go to drug development, working with deep learning systems, or they go to the finance sector, and many people also work within the car industry or aerospace industry. Next.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Mats Granat. I'm an associate professor at the physics department at Gothenburg University. I would like to tell you about our 2 master's programs that we have at the physics department. So we have a master program in physics. So let me talk briefly about that first. It's, I would say, a modern program. It contains lots of programming, machine learning, but also topics ranging from basic physics to applied physics. One can take courses into battery development, etc. There are actually 5 focus areas. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. I was in a very noisy room, so I had to switch room here. So that's why I'm a little bit out of breath. Sorry for that. Yeah, so we have 5 focus areas in the physics master program. It's material science, high energy physics, astrophysics, computational physics, and quantum computing. So quantum computing is a quite new area, and actually together with Chalmers, which is our sister university here in Gothenburg, we have quite a big effort to actually build a quantum computer. So I think that's a very interesting example of something one can study at the physics master program. The second program that we have is complex adaptive systems. So that's actually quite a unique program, I would say. We study complex systems with a background in natural science and physics. These days, the program is actually quite oriented towards algorithms, autonomous systems, machine learning, etc. So it's actually a very popular program. The students from that program are very attractive in the industry these days, as there's lots of interest, as you know, in machine learning. Okay, so maybe we can go to the next slide. Yes, I think I basically said most of these things. This is just a few examples of the courses we have. So I think in the interest of time, we can probably move on. Yes, and so after graduating from the physics or the complex adaptive systems program, you can either go into continue in academia, do a PhD. It's not unusual, but then our students are very attractive also for industry, and we of course have a lot of opportunities here in the Gothenburg area and elsewhere. The big automotive industry, the pharmaceutical industry, etc. Yeah, I think we can. Okay, so then we're to the final slide. So for more information, get in touch with Johanna, Victoria, or Linnea or Elin on the maths side.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I think that we can move forward to the questions since the time is running fast. So the first one is about a student that asks if you have any courses that teach English.
Yes, the university has courses for international students in English that are free to take outside your program courses. It's a limited amount of study places in that program. I'm not totally sure how easy it is to get a place in the courses, because I think it's quite popular. Maybe Anna or Velma has some more information about this.
I know about courses in Swedish, but it's true that courses in English, I didn't really think about it. But yeah, if you look on the website of University of Gothenburg, you will find all the English courses.
Yeah, I think you already answered also to another question that asks if there are any courses to learn Swedish. Okay, great. The next one is, can the optional courses be at different university in the masterclass of environmental science?
Yes, you can include courses from other universities. That's totally okay. But it's best that we can look at the courses before, so we know which courses there are.
Great, thank you. And the next one is, do you provide scholarships for international students?
Yes, we do. We do provide scholarships that are fully funded for the 2 years of masters. If you are lucky enough to receive one, you need to apply for it, and there's like a selection. But there's also other scholarships that we have included in the presentation, so you can have a look at that afterwards.
Great, thank you. And next question is, which are the job opportunities after marine ecology course? I would love it.
You can have a career within academia or industry or public authorities, and at consulting companies.
Yeah, I think that is connected to the next question, that is it possible to work with bioenvironmental professors while doing masters in marine science?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And next question is, do I need to submit motivation letter or curriculum for biology program?
You don't need to do that for the normal biology program, but you need to do it for the MAR Bio program, or the Nordic Master's Program in Sustainable Production and Utilization of Marine Bioresources. Then you need a motivation letter.
Okay, great. And the next one is, do research experience counts as work experience? Also, I think in this field too.
Could you repeat the question?
Do research experiences count as work experiences?
We don't really look at work experiences when we accept our master students. So you don't need it for getting into the programs.
I think the person asking that question is asking with regards to the SI scholarship, and I would say probably we are not at the best position to answer that question. Maybe they could email the SI directly.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And the next one is there the possibility to join environmental science masterclass program from bachelor chemical engineering in chemical engineering? Sorry.
It might be possible. It just depends on how many credits in natural science you have. But if you want to, you can send us your transcript of records, and we can check if you fulfill the requirements.
Okay.
I think it is possible because I also have a background in chemical engineering, kind of, and I managed to get a chance in the atmosphere, climate, and ecosystems. So I think it's very much possible, as long as the way Karina said, they have enough credits in natural sciences, they can be eligible.
Yeah, it might be possible, but if you want to be sure, you can send us your official transcript of records.
Great, thank you. And the next one is, hi, for the math program, is there a selection period of our specialization?
Yes, so in the beginning of the fall semester, you will have a talk with someone and decide what specialization you take and what courses you take. So you don't need to do anything before you come there.
Okay. And the next one is, what I think that is geographical information system do you use in geography master's degree?
We use both QGIS, so open source, and ArcGIS.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And the next and the last one, should I have a recommendation letter if I want to join at NABIS?
And no, you don't need a recommendation letter for that program.
Okay, yeah, we already answered to this question. Okay, thank you very much. So thank you to all of our panelists and to the attendees to this webinar. I'd like to remind everyone interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Docsity that you can click on the link that I'm sending right now in the chat and request it. And before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask to the panelists if they want to give to our students a message before leaving.
I just want to say thank you for joining us on this webinar, and that we hope to see you in Gothenburg and Sweden in future. And also maybe you can shortly, Carolina, show the contact details and for further information. This is also included in the presentation later on that we will send to you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you. Thanks again. And I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by Docsity. So goodbye, everyone, and have a wonderful evening and nice day.